The Redmi Note 7 and the Samsung Galaxy M20, the two most anticipated and most hyped smartphones of 2019 so far. And these days, camera performance is apparently a big deciding factor for many of you when it comes to buying a smartphone. Most of you seem to be giving it so much importance. This is probably like the cam era, pun intended. So after watching this video, you will have a clear idea about the difference in the camera performance between both devices. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Ashwin Sundar. This is Technology Jock. Kindly subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you're excited for this comparison. First, let's have a look at some pictures shot under Chennai's hot and bright sun. In case you are wondering what I've got on the Galaxy M20, it's an amazing skin from Capes India, our sponsor for this video. Capes India has a wide variety of cool skins that provide better grip and prevent scratches without adding a lot of bulk to the phone. They're available for all the latest phones, including the Galaxy M20 and Zenfone Max Pro M2. So do check them out. You can use the coupon code TJOCK to get 10% off on your purchases. So coming back, these were shot using Galaxy M20's 13 megapixel camera and Redmi Note 7's 48 megapixel camera. Okay, it's not exactly a 48 megapixel camera because by default it combines every 4 neighboring pixels into one. So the final resolution is 48 divided by 4, which is 12 megapixels. Yes, there is a 48 megapixel mode in Pro mode, but it's just interpolation, software trick. It's not truly 48 megapixels. So in terms of sharpness, as you can see, there's not much difference between both pictures. The Note 7's camera lens has an f1.8 aperture, while the M20's lens has an f1.9 aperture. That's why we can see stronger background blur on the Note 7's macro shots. Guys, if you don't understand technical terms like aperture, f1.8, f1.9, dynamic range, highlights, shadows, etc., then I highly recommend you to watch this video. I've explained everything in very simple terms. You will legit become a pro after watching it, I guarantee you. Now, the dynamic range is better on the Note 7's images. It's actually quite similar in most images, but in challenging scenes like this, with a super bright region in the scene, the Note 7 is clearly better. Here, there's a lot more detail visible near the windows, and the color of the wall is also more accurate. Here, once again, the Note 7 retains the blue color of the sky to some extent. Color accuracy is actually a hit or a miss on both phones. Here the M20's image is too warm, like little too reddish, and here it's a bit too cool or bluish. While in these comparisons, the M20's color reproduction is actually better and more accurate. Now both phones have a 5 megapixel secondary camera, but they are for entirely different purposes. The M20's camera can shoot ultra wide angle photos. The quality is not great, the picture isn't very sharp, it's kind of smudged up everywhere. The dynamic range is also just average. But guys, this is the only phone in this price segment to offer an ultra wide angle camera, so we can't really complain a lot. My suggestion, use the secondary camera only if you absolutely need to capture a wide field of view. Otherwise, stick to the primary camera. The 5 megapixel shooter on the Redmi Note 7 is a depth sensor, which helps capture portrait mode images like this. Samsung also has a similar feature called live focus, but it's just not that good. The edge detection is very poor, to be honest. In almost every portrait mode shot, there are a lot of blemishes around the subject. The background is not properly blurred out. While the Note 7 is almost perfect, and it gets even better when you use Google Camera's portrait mode. Installing Google Camera on the Note 7 is extremely easy. Just download the APK from the description of this video and install it. Done. Here is a camera comparison between the stock camera and the Google Camera app on the Redmi Note 7. Now the Note 7 can shoot some really sharp selfies. The difference is quite obvious here, right? The dynamic range though is better on the M20 selfie. Look at the building behind me, you will understand what I'm saying. But then again, the Google Camera app can fix it for the Note 7. And just like the rear camera portrait mode comparison, the selfie portraits coming out of the Note 7 are better too. The edge detection is almost perfect. The M20's edge detection is far better in portrait selfies than in rear camera portrait images, but it's still not as good as the Note 7. And of course, using Google Camera makes the Note 7 even better. Now, when it comes to images shot during nighttime, we need to consider two different scenarios. Number one, when the surroundings are moderately lit, like there are some light sources lighting up the scene. In those cases, when you take a quick glance, you won't find a lot of differences. Both are almost equally bright. But look closely and you'll see that the M20's photo is smudged up almost everywhere. Look at the road, there is no detail. And look at this piece of text. It's a lot crisper on the Note 7's photo. Crispier, crisper, more crispy. There is a dedicated night mode on the Note 7's camera app. It improves the shadows and brings down the highlights, so there's a lot more detail. Just look at the difference. Anyway, scenario number 2 is when the surroundings extremely dim. In those cases, the Note 7's pictures are a lot brighter and sharper. The reason for this is the Note 7 uses a much larger 1x2 inch sensor compared to the M20's 1x2.8 inch sensor. Now you may say, although the sensor size is big, the size of every individual pixel is only 0.8 microns, so it's below average, right? Yep, that's right. But remember, the sensor combines every 4 pixels into one, so the effective size of every individual pixel is 1.6 microns, not 0.8. And if you didn't know, bigger the pixel, more the amount of light captured, the pixel size on the M20 sensor is only 1.12 microns. And then the aperture is also wider on the Note 7's camera. So together, they help the Note 7 capture bright images even in terrible lighting conditions. And guys, it's not over yet. You can use the night mode to make it better. Oh, we are still not done. You can also use Google Camera's night sight mode to make it even better. Have a look at a few more comparisons. Now the ultra wide angle camera makes it worse for Samsung in low light because the size of the 5 megapixel sensor is too small, just 1/6 inches. Now for video comparison, let's first talk about 1080p resolution at 30 fps. The Note 7's video is noticeably sharper, has slightly better colors and dynamic range. The important thing to note here is the M20 keeps hunting for focus. It keeps jumping in and out of focus. You have to tap to focus on a specific region, only then the hunting will stop. One more thing, the M20 doesn't have any sort of stabilization, while the Note 7 has EIS, and it's quite evident, it's a lot more stable. Moving on, the Note 7 can also shoot 1080p videos at 60 fps, which means the footage is a lot smoother, but it loses stabilization in this setting. It's also possible to shoot 4K video at 30 fps on the Google Camera app. So what's the final verdict? For images shot during the day using the rear camera, the difference isn't very glaring. The Note 7 is maybe slightly better, but for just about everything else, be it low light photos, portrait photos, selfie portraits, anything, you name it, the Note 7 is the clear winner. And when you use Google Camera, there's just no comparison, really. So all the testing and analysis I did for hours has finally come to an end. I hope you guys have a clear idea now. If you do, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you think I deserve it. More importantly, hit the bell icon for more videos like this. And don't forget to check out Capes India, their skins are amazing. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Ashwin Sundar from Technology Jock, leaving for the moment. Have a nice day. The background is not properly blurred out. The background is not properly blurred out. The background is not properly blurred out. Did I say that right?